Let's move to the Baltimore Ravens.
It's very exciting, the Baltimore Ravens this year. They just came off a monster season where I think the entire community got extremely excited about pretty much every player that was on that roster, short of Rashod Bateman.
Yeah. One thing that I'm looking at that stood out to me, just looking at them defensively as well, and last year from a betting perspective, from week 9 through the divisional round, they covered the spread every single game except for one. So people were unsure about how they were going to go, and they were blowing expectations out of the water. There was a bunch of games, like last year was one of the lowest scoring years that the NFL has experienced since something like 2006, if I recall correctly. It was one of the lowest scoring years. They were one of the only teams to consistently go over their over-under implied total each week. Only week they didn't really do it in the back half of the season was against LA, where it was like 49.5 was the line, and they couldn't get there in the end. But that was I think that was that Monday night game, if I recall correctly. Yep. And then they were choppy. Like Lamar was awesome. Lamar wins MVP. That was exciting to see. Their defense was good. Kyle Hamilton was good, but then they were kind of lacking in a couple of areas as well. They're a bit weak at linebacker. But yeah, this is a team that I had a Ravens to win the Super Bowl ticket last year, and it just fell short. So
are you going to double down on it?
I don't know. I don't know that I want to.
I couldn't.
I don't know that they've made enough changes in the lineup for me to get on board with that. So they drafted in the NFL draft. They drafted Nate Wiggins. They drafted Roger Rosengarten, who's a good right tackle. They drafted Tez Walker. I'm interested by Tez Walker.
Has great presence on the field. I think that's a stud. That's a stud.
Yeah, and they're bringing in TJ Tampa as well. He was a good corner as well. So they've got Marlon Humphrey still. They've still got Kyle Hamilton we talked about. They have Kyle Van Noy. I think he's a bit past his prime. Adafe Owe at linebacker is really good, and Roquan Smith. I think that those two, Adafe Owe and Roquan Smith, I think they're going to be some awesome off-ball linebackers for them.
Hey, look, we know that the Ravens are going to be good defensively because they've never not been good defensively.
Yes, exactly. And there's no changes to the coaching staff.
You said something there that there has been not enough changes to make them get over the hump. Now, I'm going to pull this offensively, and I'm going to take this to the MVP.
All right.
And I'm going to say that the biggest change that has happened is the weight of Lamar Jackson.
He's bulky, man. He's buff.
No. Go take a look. Google
really?
Right now.
Last season he was like the biggest he'd ever been. What am I looking at?
We're gonna type in Lamar Jackson, and you're gonna type in weight.
Yeah.
Pull up your most recent news article.
Lamar drops weight in an effort to be more agile.
Okay.
From ESPN 2 days ago.
So now look at the decision making that the Baltimore Ravens have done this offseason. What are the biggest changes that the Baltimore Ravens have done this offseason to their offense?
To their offense.
Let's talk about their losses.
Not a lot. So I mean, who have they lost?
Look a little bit deeper.
Derrick Henry.
but look a little bit deeper. What did they lose?
I buried the lead.
What did they lose?
They lost Gus Edwards. They lost
J.K. Dobbins.
J.K. Dobbins. Yep. Thank you. They lost Odell Beckham.
Okay. And so now this is what I'm saying. Let's look at how this personnel is actually going to look.
Yeah.
You've got Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
You've got.
Oh, man. I'm extremely excited for Derrick Henry this year.
You've got one of the greatest fullbacks in all of football. Yeah. And then you've decided to keep 2 tight ends that are both performing above average.
They're insane. Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely.
And you're leaving one wide receiver that is a stud.
So Zay Flowers, Rashod Bateman, they signed to an extension. I could not believe that. He's garbage.
He's not garbage.
He sucks.
He's not.
Nelson Aguilar's all right.
he's not what everybody thought he was going to be,
He was not the first round pick that they took him for.
but he showed some promise as the season went on in blocking.
Mm.
So you sign him to an extension because the guy actually put his body on the line. Literally multiple clips of him laying out in front of people to let the running go. Now you think about what's actually happening, and I will ask this question on a professional level. If a professional athlete decides to go ahead and lose 14 pounds, why would a professional athlete go to lose 14 pounds? Everything
So
that they do.
You think it's going to be a big pass game this year?
No, I think it's the exact opposite. I think
Really?
I think you have a very strong option game.
Yeah, but less Lamar running. My point.
Yes, I think this is probably going to be one of the last seasons that I think statistically you see Lamar run hard.
Yep.
He's getting there, right? He's getting there. He's getting up there in age.
Yeah.
But you looked in the backfield, and the two guys that you just replaced, all that yardage from J.K. Dobbins and from Gus Edwards, and now you're putting it in the hands of Derrick Henry. There's still not enough yardage. So you need an increase. You need an increase in production from Lamar Jackson in the rushing game. But what you've done is you've manipulated your offense to be better suited in two tight end sets who are guys that can block on the move and also be dump off options. You re-signed Rashod Bateman, who showed very good promise in his blocking as a receiver and like took it gracefully because he was getting flack from the media like crazy in Baltimore for his lack of production in the passing game, yet still showed up every single game. And like everybody wants him to be a Brandon Ayuk, like a guy that can block and catch, and he can catch, but they didn't need him for that. Odell wasn't going out there and blocking. Nelson Aguilar it's a toothpick. You know, like you need a blocking receiver, especially in an option game. And
so you like Bateman for that? You know what's interesting?
But I love Lamar Jackson's rushing total.
What do you think it's going to be?
I don't know, but I don't care.
If I gave you 800, what would you say?
I mean, that's excessive. But I'm
looking at his last couple of years. So last year, 821.
Yep.
Before that, so 764, 767, and then 1005 and 1206.
Yeah. Okay. So hearing that out loud, I would take over 800. I would probably, I would play that. I would play that too. Now I did the math on all the games and with the added game in my head too, as I said that it was ridiculous. It's not actually that ridiculous. That added game really helps.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know, to be honest with you. Let me play it to 1,000.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that'd be amazing. He'd have to win MVP again, even if he did that 3 times.
He might.
Nah, I don't see it.
No, I know that you don't, and I think that a lot of people don't as well, and that's why I'm stressing this. This is a bold take, but it's everything that they are doing as an organization aligns around Lamar Jackson having the football in his hands more this year than he did last year. Yeah. And I will bet the farm on it.
All right. So they open opening night against KC. They then go on to play week 2 against Vegas. They have Dallas, and then they have Buffalo week 4. That's
tough. They got a good back half. They got a good back half of the year, but the front half is tough. But to be honest with you, I don't think it really matters. That guy has shown.
Yeah, they're competitive.
Like I said, the father time, like the clock is ticking on his career and his strengths.
He's only 27, man.
I get it. Where do running backs fall off?
About 30.
No, it's before then.
It's before then, but I think like if you think about like Cam Newton, his shoulder became really a problem for him around 30, 31.
It was injuries, it was. But he's not Lamar.
True.
Lamar is now even a leaner runner, right?
Yeah.
So the elusiveness of Lamar Jackson is a strength in his game. His tiptoe ability, his ability to evade and move quick. And I cannot, for the life of me, with all of the decisions that have been made in this organization, see a situation that Lamar Jackson does not end up with more rushing yards than he did last year.
That's good, man. You fired me up. I'm keen to draft him in fantasy.
I'm telling you, this is going to be a great year for Lamar Jackson.
Hey, just before we move on to our final team, did you see who they added to the quarterback room to reunite with Lamar Jackson?
Who was it?
Our boy from last offseason, preseason, Malik Cunningham.
I love it. I love it so much.
He's back.
Could you imagine a Lamar Jackson injury and Malik's got to come in here and fill the shoes? I can.
He's buried on the depth chart, but I thought that was quite cool to see them back on the same team together.
I love it. I fucking love it. That's our boy.